Hi guys, welcome to this week's podcast. I've actually got a bit of a different spin on this week where I've actually got a bit of actual training on Instagram and how it all works. And this is a training that I put together for some clients on how to use it for their construction business. Now, at the time of recording this training, I had about 11,000 followers on Instagram and was sort of really finding my feet with the app. Now, just under about 30,000, so it's grown quite a bit in that time. All of these principles still apply. It's a massive advantage to any business when you know how to use it and what to do. So I hope you enjoy listening into this, and you obviously can watch this on YouTube as well, but it's really going to help you understand and how to use Instagram for your business. Enjoy. Bosh.
Instagram. So I think Instagram is really important, and a lot of people talk about it and go, I don't really know what I'm doing with it, how to use it and that. So I thought I would do a video on what's worked for me, how I use it and what I do. So you get an understanding of that from like my side and the inside, if you like, of following the page. But also how you can use it and why you should use it for your business to get in more work or referrals, or it's like a library really of like all the work that you've done. So it is important. I'll be honest as well, before I get into it, I wish I'd fucking started years ago. I wish I'd like really woke up to it really, and the opportunity and the potential of it, because not only can you get like the work out of it, but other opportunities do come up for it, and it is quite interesting how it all works. Now, I think people don't really understand social media still today. It's been out, 10 years? And the facts are like 90% of people, I think it's even higher than that, don't actually use it. They just watch. Like you're being used by it, and that might even be you. You go on it all the time. You're scrolling. But if you just converted that time into using it for you to get more work in, get more opportunities, build more relationships and network, fucking hell, like your life could be so different. And I wish I'd started 10 years ago when it was the early opportunity, because I could now have a massive following if I'd started 10 years ago, and there could have been all sorts of business opportunities that come out of that. So, but that being said, look, you've got to start somewhere. So, that time's gone, but I just wanted to get across that I think it's a massive opportunity that you should be using. So for me now, obviously the page is at 11,000 followers, and really I'm just going to share like what I've learned along the way and like what it's taken to get there, how I do it, what works. So for you guys, like you've got a business, you've got a construction business, or whatever trade you're in, I would view Instagram as your library of work. Like even if you don't specifically get as much work out of it as you like, view it as your CV. Like it is literally your portfolio and your showcase of what you do. So even if most of your work comes through a website or some other means of marketing or whatever you currently do, it's always great to be able to send people from the website to your Instagram page to see what you do, what you get up to, and how you deliver, and how like the quality of it, because it's a really in-depth view of what you do and what you can deliver. So look at it like that, because you know what it's like as well. Like if you're not on socials these days, people go to look for you. It's actually a bit weird. They can't find you because people are looking for proof and validation. So have that in mind, that if you're not present on there, you don't really exist, which is a problem for business. So it's incredibly important. Now, bear in mind that it is your image. Like you've got to treat it really serious, because it's like anything, isn't it? If you're going out on a good date with someone's like fucking hot bird, you're going to want to turn up in your best clothes, or whatever, or vice versa if you're turning up for a date with a bloke. Got some women running now. But you want to put your best foot forward. So like if your profile looks shit, doesn't look the best it can look, then that's a problem, isn't it? So you've got to bear that in mind, that it is your representation. It's showcasing you and what your company does. There's a lot of good points to it, but obviously there are some cons. It does take time. It does take some thought. But that's obviously what I'll go through in this training and give you a better understanding of what I do and how to use it really. But it's time well spent is all I'll say on that. It is time well spent. And it doesn't need to take a lot of time either, once you've got the right fucking plan in place to actually make it work. So look, just to begin with, I put some points together that obviously Instagram is a marketing tool, and I don't think people fully understand what marketing is. But for me, marketing is the lifeblood of your business. It's the entry point where people get to know who you are. And it's so important. Like, you should never not be marketing. Like, even if you're really busy, you should never let it drop off. You know, look at people or companies like Coca-Cola, for example. They still advertise all the time. They don't need to, because everyone's buying that shit all the time. But they're constantly putting their brand in front of people. All the big companies do that. It's just such an important thing, because the more times people know you and see you, the more likely that they are to buy from you. And marketing is superior to sales. Like, if you've never heard of a company or heard of someone and they come around your house trying to sell something, you've got nothing to verify or back up what they're saying is true. Whereas if you flip that and someone's seen your company for years, growing, doing and delivering really good work in whatever it is that you do, they're already sort of pre-sold on what you've got to offer them when they need them, when they're ready to buy from you. Like, it's so much easier to be a brand, isn't it? Like walk into a Porsche showroom, for example. Like, you're going to buy the Porsche as long as they can get what you want. Like, they're not there to convince you why you should buy a Porsche. Like, they already know that you already want the Porsche, because you know the brand, you've been marketed to since you were a kid. You know it. So have that viewpoint on it. But marketing makes sales easy. Like, the better the marketing, the least amount of encouragement or persuasion you're going to have to use in your sales to actually win the job. But if your marketing's shit hot, the phone rings, it's an easier deal to do. So bear that in mind. Marketing is superior to sales. And what I will say is, even if someone's really good at sales, if you've only got one job to price, even if you're really good and you sort of close 50% of your deals, you might not win that one job. Whereas if you've got a great marketing system that provides you 10, 20, 30 leads a week, as a business, that's exactly where you want to be, because you can sort of almost pick and choose what work you want and know that you've got repeat work coming in, and it's not a case of just a bit busy this week, a bit quieter next week or whatever. You can build a machine. And really, marketing is being known, and the best known beats the best. Like, you will probably know someone yourself that's really, really talented and skilled, but they're just not known. So they're not going to be getting decent amounts of work and opportunities that are available. It's no good being the fucking best, sitting in a shed somewhere building something. No one knows who the fuck you are. They can't buy from you. Like, the best known beats the best. Never ever forget that. And you've probably seen it as well. There's people that aren't actually very good, but they've got such a good marketing message and that they're good at socials and that type of stuff, that they get work. But that's not through being the best, it's because they're the best known. Okay. Now, what I will say is, marketing's a long-term game. It's not a quick win. They say that the average is someone, or a customer, should I say, needs between 7 and 12 touch points before they're going to be willing to reach out, speak to you, get information, or get a price or whatever. They need to see you a good few times. That the days are gone where you can literally just put up one post and then you get a flood of inquiries or stuff coming through. It is a longer term game. So don't think of it as like a quick win that you put 3 posts up and you get hardly any likes. You've got to build it over time and accept that. And that's just what it is. That's why when you see TV commercials as well, they'll play the same ad for a few months at a time, because it's just association. You know it. Even sometimes you're subconsciously not even really paying attention. It is still going in. And then when you see it the next time, you're like, oh, I've seen that before. And that's really what you want. You want people to be able to say about you and your company, oh yeah, I have seen them somewhere. I've seen them here, there and everywhere. Do you know what I mean? And familiarity is confidence to buy from you. So think of it as a longer term game. It's not a quick win, okay? It is not. But to be honest, what in life is, quick wins are quick wins, and they're lucky breaks that you're never going to get again. So you want to have the view of longer term, building it over time. And there's never a time when marketing's not useful. If you actually think about it, even when you've got so much work on, if you're still marketing and people still want you, what a strong position that is to be in as a business. Like, never ever get complacent and get busy and go, well, fuck the market, I don't need them now. Because people forget about you. You've got to be constant, you've got to be regular. And it honestly, like, you cannot ever just get complacent about marketing. It's always going to be useful, and it could always come up with other opportunities you don't even know about or think about yet. Like, you've got to be known. Unless you're known, people can't buy from you. So I really want to enforce that point. Like, for you to have a mindset shift when you're watching this, is that the better known you are, the more opportunities are going to come your way. And that's what I started off this training by saying, look, I wish I'd started this shit 10 years ago. I've been so busy in the business and building stuff, and well, that's been great. It's paid off very well. Don't get me wrong. If I'd have started building a personal brand and being known by a lot more people, I'd have a lot more opportunities today. So it's just so important. And look, the next thing is that marketing is non-negotiable if you want to build a decent business and you want to make proper money. Like, it's non-negotiable. That's how you should view it in your head. It's not I'll do a post when I've got time, or I'll look at that. Or you cannot fuck around with this. It's non-negotiable. You need to be marketing all the time. Okay. And look, really, the main thing is, it's actually a joke now compared to how it was 20 years ago or whatever, before social media was a thing. Like, before, you'd have to spend thousands and thousands of like creating an advertising campaign, filming a TV advert or whatever, and then putting it out there, and then not really knowing the result. Whereas social media, fucking hell, you can literally, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything to do. It just costs you your time and a bit of fucking brain power to actually put it to use. But when you think about it, that people are growing audiences for free and then generating revenue off the back of that, it's actually a joke. Like, and honestly, people don't realise the potential and the opportunity and the power of it. And that's really my main thing I want to get across to you, that you are fucking missing a trick if you're not dominating socials. And, you know, there's some things recently you might have seen, like there's some influencers, you might have heard of them, like KSI and things like that, the younger kids. The next, you know, they started off by doing FIFA videos. Now they're doing like boxing deals with Eddie Hearn. They brought out their own drink and it's sold off the shelves. It's just spiraled out of control, and it's the money they're making from it is just ridiculous. So, whilst it's not going to happen to everyone, what I'm saying is there's opportunities that can come out that you don't even know about yet. So being present is always going to pay you a lot more. And what would you rather have? A lot of people that know you and like you versus no one knows you. Like, you know that answer already. And look, it's not complicated. You just got to post stuff up, but it's got to be the right stuff, and it does take effort. So let's take all the complication out of it today. Let's understand that you need to do it, and let's just work out a game plan for you to actually win. So what I want you to do is just go over what I do, which you will have seen it on the page if you followed me for a period amount of time now. But I started the Masters of the Trade Instagram page before I knew what I was doing, because I'm a just get started type of person, and that's what you should adopt, is just get started and you'll figure it out. Because I knew that you need a following online these days. I didn't know how to do it, I didn't know what I was doing. It's alien to me, if I'm honest. I'm still learning now. But we've grown the page now to 11,000 followers, but it started off as just posting other people's work, because I didn't have anything to say at the time. I didn't know how to use it. I didn't know anything about Reels or anything like that. I didn't have a fucking clue. But just started posting work, getting some traction. Then I started doing Reels, and then it sort of spiked big time. Then I was doing more in stories and showing my face, if you like. And I'll be honest, I didn't know what to do. It's weird fucking looking at camera and speaking about stuff, but you're not going to be good at it unless you do it. Like, the more you do something, then you get better at it. So you have to get over that fucking like fear bubble of, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't want to go on camera. Everyone starts off shit. Like, that's just how it is. Like, whatever you do, regardless of social media, first time you do something, you're going to be shit. The next time you're going to be a little bit better. The next time better again, and it goes from there. Like, but you've got to be willing to go through the period of being shit before you get good. So just get that in your heads. Like, everyone's shit when they started, and everyone started with 0 followers and just a blank fucking social media profile. So you've got to get started. So The main thing for me of what I do is I turn up every day, and that's exactly what you need to do. Like, you can't just post once here and there and don't really turn up. It is a consistency game. Like, I made a deal with myself that I will post every day because that's what it takes. Like, you've got to show up every day, and you've got to treat it like that. Okay, so that's what I do. I treat it. I turn up every day. The content that you do has got to be relevant to the audience that you've got. You know, you won't see on my feed, if you like. If you look at the feed now on Instagram, there's no like pictures of me eating lunch or on a holiday or whatever on the feed. Like, it's all about tradespeople's work, and then knowledge, advice, or topics around construction. Like, there's nothing off topic on the feed. You won't find anything like that. I don't post pictures of cars or anything like that. It's all about tradesmen, construction, the business side, making money, anything around that. So that's what yours has got to be. It's got to be relevant about what you do. So if you're a carpenter, it's a carpentry page. It should all be about your carpentry. If you're a tiler, it should all be about that. If you're an electrician, it should all be about that. Okay? It's got to be relevant to your audience. Now, also, the content that I do is real. It's just what I'm doing, and it's what I'm saying to someone else. Like, I don't sit there and make it up. Like, you've got to actually just be the content. Don't get in that trap, because I've been there before as well, and you go, oh, what the fuck am I going to post or whatever. When you're doing it every day, the only way you're going to be able to do that is just by doing what you're doing on that day. That's the only way you're going to do it. Be the content. It's the best advice I can give you, because people want information. Like, they go on socials because they want to learn or understand something. So don't think about what to post. All you need to do is just post what you're doing that day and at the time. So if you're building something in a workshop, make a reel about that, what you're building and why you're doing it and why you do it that way. Like, that's what you've got to do. If you're looking at a job, record that, what you're looking for, what you're looking at. Start thinking like that. What are you doing today that you can just make a reel out of, or a story? Okay. Now, I commit to doing 2 reels a day. Now, I do fuck up sometimes, and I do miss sometimes because I'm just busy. But, you know, I'm human. But I commit to 2, and most of the time I do that. There's always something going on the page every day. Try and always do something every day. But I have committed to 2 reels a day. Now, reels get like the attention, and they get posted on. So it obviously goes on your main feed and your page, but other people can see it that don't follow you. Now, for me, I get about 2,500 views on a reel, on an average reel. Some of them get a bit more, some of them get a bit less. But that's the sort of viewage rate that I get on it. Then I also commit to doing stories every day as well. Now, the reels that I do, they like get attention to the page, and they're like training points. But the stories is where you develop relationships with people. Like, you show a bit more personality in the stories, and a bit more like what you're up to. So like, then it can be a bit more relaxed. It can be like, oh, I'm out here, or I've just done this, or whatever, or do you know what I mean? I'm at the gym. It might be a bit more relaxed, and that's the way to view it. Is like, reels get you the attention on the main thing that you do, but the stories is a bit more personable and a bit more about you and your life, if you like. But then the view rates for me on stories, like a good story now, I'll get maybe 1,000 views, which just, I'm saying that the numbers aren't really that relevant to an extent, but I'm saying that, look, with 11,000 followers, I'll get 2,500 people watch a reel, and then I'll get 1,000 people actually watch a story. So it just shows you that people, doesn't mean because you've got 11,000, they're all watching it. And that's why sometimes I'll post the same stuff or same thing again, because a different 1,000 people might see it that time and then get a reaction or a response. So what I'm saying is, don't get disheartened. I've got a cold, by the way, I keep coughing. Don't get disheartened when you might have 300 followers and 5 people might watch it. It's all relative to the numbers you've got. The next thing I do is I reply back to people as much as I can. And I like other people's stuff, so I'm seen on other people's pages. They might have a bigger following than me. You know, comment and post, you know. At the end of the day, it's social media, which means fucking be social. So don't be afraid to fucking comment and like on other people's stuff, because that's what it's there for to do. That's why all the buttons there. That's why the heart button's there. emojis you can use, whatever. It's to be social. So don't be afraid of commenting and liking on other people's stuff, even pages that are in the same industry as you and bigger than you. Start being active on it. Just comment on stuff. I do reply to all messages as well, pretty much most of the time, on the same day as best I can. But it's fucking hell. Some days I've got 50 messages. It's fucking mental. So you've always got to reply to them. From what I'm told, if you don't reply to stuff and you leave messages in the inbox, apparently the algorithm doesn't like that. But fuck knows who. That's one thing I'm going to say as well. Like, no one knows the algorithms or whatever, and people like to go, "Oh, the algorithms changed, doesn't work anymore." Fuck that. That's all bullshit. It is what it is. Like, no one really knows how it works, and it's just bizarre that sometimes you'll post something, and I've seen it on other people's pages, and it goes fucking mental, and it gains them thousands of followers. And then other times you think something's good, and it absolutely fucking flops. You don't know, so fuck that. Just forget about it. Just commit to doing the work. Just doing what I'm saying and telling you to doing this. You're never going to guess, and they could change the algorithm every day anyway, so who knows. And then the last thing that I do is I'm myself. Like, I don't try and be someone I'm not. I am myself. I'm relatable, and that's the biggest thing I'll get to you guys is be you, be yourself, because people like you for your personality. We've all got different personalities. We've all got different quirks or whatever. Don't be afraid to show who you are. Like, everyone goes into this thing of like, "Oh, I'm doing a reel," and they're like, "Oh, hello," and being all stiff about it. Like I said, it's difficult. It's weird when you first go on camera and that, but just be yourself. Don't try and be something you're not, because it's fucking 10 times harder to be something that you're not versus just being you. And look, people will either like you or they're not. And look, the other thing is that if you're a complete dick, maybe you need to second think about being on social media in the first place. But I don't think you are a dick because you're watching this training inside my sort of system. But be yourself. Don't be afraid of just being relatable and being a person. Because at the end of the day, people buy from people. Never forget that. People buy from people. The next, look, that's obviously stuff that I do and gives you a view of that. But just wanted to fire off some observations that I've seen. And look, number one is that views and likes don't really matter. That's not really relevant. The people that have actually then gone on to work with me on the more expensive consultancy side, which I'll be honest is, it's thousands of pounds. Those people have never actually liked or commented on anything that I've ever put up. They've always come out of the complete blue, filled out a form and booked a call to actually get involved with some of the high level stuff that I do. So don't view the likes and the comments as your success on it, because people are always watching. And it's always people that you don't know. So whilst it's good to have some views and likes, that's an indication of what you've put up. It's like got some worth or some like value to it. It's not the be all and end all. Most people don't comment and like on stuff because they just don't. So just accept that and understand that. Number two is like, it's not about followers. A lot of people have bought followers and people and robots and like 400 people from China. Don't get into that. Never do that. Apparently it fucks your page if you buy followers. And for me, it's a bit like buying a fucking Schneid, like designer gear and that. Like, it's not for me. Like, don't buy fake stuff. Like, it's just not. It's not what you want to be doing. It's just about relationships and engaged with the right people. That's really what you want. So just remember that when you're speaking, like I speak how I speak, and I speak about the trades and construction, and I say it how it is because I know that's how trades and construction people are. They're no bullshit people. They want that. They don't want bollocks. And so my main point with that is like, don't try and please everyone, because getting a bigger following is not relevant. You want a following of the people that are going to buy from you and work with you, basically. So I view social media, my third point, the turning point in my head of like Instagram and using it is that I now view it as the pub. What I mean by that is that when I was younger, it was all about going to the pub all the time because you're a face and a name, if you like, and that's where you build relationships and network, if you like, call it another thing. but you were known because you played football, you went to the pub, and you were a face of where you live. That's the old school way, and that's where the majority of the stuff that I've done in the past, or anyone that's like older or ahead of me, is from relationships from when they were younger and going to the pub and being seen. But now with the social media and the power of the phone, I'm now connected to people all over the country, some people even abroad, and I actually view that as the modern day pub. So it's like if I pop up on here every day, I've now got building a relationship and being known by 11,000 people, and it's growing and it's growing. Like where else can you do that? You just can't do that. It's just impossible. You couldn't fill a stadium full of 11,000 people every day and be able to speak to them and communicate with them. And you only need a few people to like end up doing business with you, and it's fucking paying off. So think about the long game of like if I'm in people's lives every day for the next 5-10 years, for example, that's a real solid relationship versus going to the pub, which is what the old school thing and what I used to do, is like being on a pub Friday night and seeing people. It's just a fucking massive, bigger, wider network. Honestly, you need to get that in your head that it is fucking, the potential is huge. So I view it as a pub. It's basically me going to the pub every day, posting on that. The next point is just understand that people are watching all the time. Like there's loads of lurkers watching what you're posting, and it's the people that you least expect. Like people are watching all the time, and you know yourself, people are fucking addicted to it now. People are addicted to social media. It's like you see someone now in a queue for something. The first thing they do is whip out the phone, they're scrolling, they're looking. They're at a restaurant table, the missus has gone for a piss. You're at your phone, you're scrolling. It's like a comfort blanket now. It actually pisses me off. It annoys me that people are on them all the time. And that's the perception with it. Like I post regularly, but I'm not on the phone all the time because I don't like it. But 99% of the world, they're on it all the time. So just understand people are watching all the time, and it is always the people you least expect. Now, the next point I've got here is that never underestimate the power of referral from one of your followers, because like there's two things to that. Number one is you can have loads of people following you that they might not necessarily buy from you, but their friend or their family member might need something doing, and then they know you because they've followed you for a long time. So they're like a link in. And if someone's done that for you, then you're up there on the instant trust and referrals like scale, if you like. Because the moment someone you know says, "Oh, use these guys, they're really good," you're just way up there. So never forget that as well. And the other thing I wanted to say is that I get messages now from people in completely different industries and businesses and whatever, saying like how good my content is and stuff that I say, and then they've even asked for me to go into their business and do a talk on how to do business now. But I'm construction based, but it's just mad that I've got other people. One lady was from the NHS, and she's like saying, "Oh, would you come in and do a talk?" I'm like, "What the fuck are you on about?" But it's someone that's been watching for a long time. They've obviously found something from somewhere, and now that opportunity has potentially come up. Do you know what I mean? So it's mad. So don't ever forget that. The next thing, company brand versus personal brand. And this is something I'm trying to figure out now, is that obviously the page is Masters of the Trade, which has got a following, but it's a brand, if you like, isn't it? It's not my personal page. And my personal page has got hardly any followers because I've never really used it. It's just got people that I know. I'm trying to work out how I use that now to like move forward to build other things with it. So I'm still working on it. But what I would say is people buy from people, and they want to see the face to the name. Like it's no good having your company like profile and no one ever sees the face. Like they want to see the person. Like that was the pivotal point really with the Masters of the Trade page. The minute I popped up, people could see it was a real person running it. They could see who it was and who's behind it. They buy into it, and then people start, forming a relationship with you. So I think personal brand is really important. And what I've noticed is a lot of people that have got their business page, the business page don't get that much following. It's the personal page that does. So it's an argument that I think you need both, but it's difficult to focus on one. But my biggest point to you is that show your face to the brand of what you do. People want to see the person behind it, and if you struggle with showing your face, and it's something you've got to work on, because it's going to hold you back in your business and the potential that it can give you. So just posting up just corporate looking images with a logo in the corner of every post you do, and there's nothing to it. It's not going to work. It's just bollocks. The next point is, look, understand some things will flop. Sometimes you'll post something, it'll get fuck all. Even when it's at a time that you normally post at, even if you think it's good, some things will just flop. And then the things that you least expect will just pick off. And anyone who's built a decent following and name in Instagram or any social media, they've said the same thing as well. So just accept that that's part of the game. It's just how it is. Now, the next point is never forget what social media is. One is it is sociable. So it is social media. So let's just strip that part. Social, you've got to be social. You've got to be relatable. You've got to be a person. You can't be boring or plain Jane, because it's not entertaining, is it? It is a social place. So it's built for people to interact, comment, like, and be on there. So be social. That's the most important part. The next thing is it's a media. So you never forget that you're creating media to put on there, and media to engage. So like the main thing for it is people go on social media to either A, be entertained because they're bored, or B, to learn something. So they walk away going, oh great, that's quite useful. So whenever you post anything, bear those two things in mind. Think about, is your reel or post or story, is it entertaining, or is it like a teaching point on what you do and how you do it? And that's all you really need to do, is those two things, either entertaining or it's a learning point. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. And this is my next thing, is like, don't be scared to actually just go, well, whatever industry you're in, whatever trade you're in, find the pages of people that are smashing it and then just copy them. Like, don't copy them fucking word for word and try and recreate a video they've done, but just understand the common things that they're doing and what's working for them, and just emulate what they're doing. And that's a big word, emulate, but just do what they're doing and like mirror it, basically. Don't reinvent the wheel. You don't need to. Next thing I put is be yourself. I think I've said that a few times, but honestly, be yourself. Like, it's a lot harder being someone you're not. Be yourself on socials. Obviously, look, depending on what your thing is, you've got to be a certain level of professionalism. You won't need to skirt certain things. Obviously, Masters of Trade page, I do swear because I swear a lot. But if you're doing your business and it's a trade, you might not want to swear in that because it puts certain customers off. Whereas, you know, my page is not for getting people in for me to do work for them. It's for tradesmen, so I understand my market, whereas you need to understand your market. Now, the last point, it's just, again, is people want to be entertained, but never forget that. If you can't do that, it's a waste of time. So, like, don't just put up posts on your page and it's like you put a picture up in your nan's house or something and it's just boring. You know, you might like it, but it's boring. Like, make sure it's fucking relevant, make entertaining, or they're learning something. Can't stress that enough. So that's some observations that I've come up with. Now, the next thing is like some action steps for you to actually use Instagram better for you and your business. Now, the first thing I'll say is the first action step to do is more of a mental one, is just to acknowledge and accept you've got to be present. If you're in business, you want to make money, you want to get more customers, you want to make more sales, you need to acknowledge and accept that you've got to be present on social media. Okay? End of. Like, you've got to accept that in your own head and go, yes, tick. Because I think a lot of people deliberate and think, oh yeah, I should put a post up, or, you know, it's quite willy-nilly and loose. then you need to come to terms with now, watching this, that you have to be present. It's just non-negotiable. Like you've got to acknowledge and accept that. And if you don't want to acknowledge and accept that, then you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities. So you decide, okay? But acknowledge and accept it. Then number 2 is you've then got to commit to the actions every day. You've got to commit to it. Like don't fucking half-ass this and just like play a little dip, like, you know, dip your toe in. If you're doing it, you got to do it. Okay, that is what it is. So commit to the actions every day. It's the number one thing. Like even if you're not very good to begin with, and look, we've all got to start somewhere. But if you just commit to doing it every day, even if you're an idiot, if you do it every day, you're going to start to learn what works and what doesn't work for you, and what's building your page and what's growing. So you've got to commit to that action every day. Time in the game of doing it is going to be anything that you can watch or learn in anything. And you'll know that with your trade. You know, watching and learning from a video or learning from someone is great, but doing it yourself is where you learn and develop the craft. And that's what you've got to look at with this in Instagram is you're developing your craft. It takes time. Don't expect miracles overnight, but doing it is better than not doing it, and you'll learn a lot quicker by just fucking rolling your sleeves up and getting involved. So you need to commit to doing it every day. And that's what it's all about, every day. Okay? So I would say for you, minimum 1 reel a day. And I say a reel because posts don't work anymore. Like pictures don't work. Instagram have openly come out and said they're pushing video. People want to watch video more now. Video is the only thing that's really going to work and get any traction. So forget about even doing any like posts and pictures. It's got to be videos. It's got to be reels, okay? That 10 second to 30 seconds, some of mine are like 90 second, like the maximum. That's where you want to be doing. So commit to doing 1 reel a day, and then also doing stories every day. Jump in your stories. So your reel is what you're doing at work. So if you're laying on the floor, you're building a fucking unit, you're putting plugs on a wall, you're doing a board, you know, explain what you're doing and why you're doing it. That's your reel. Do that every day. And then your stories is a bit more a day in the life, if you like, behind the scenes, what you're up to, what you're doing. You could be, you're going to the suppliers, you could be working on a quote for someone, you could be explaining why you do something in a certain way. Think of it like that. Think of it as the stories are your day in the life, and the reel is actually you doing whatever you do, whatever trade you're in, okay? But commit to both of those, 1 each a day. That's what you've got to commit to. Now, number 3, again, look, accept and understand that the payoff is over time. It's not instant. If you don't do the work, it doesn't work. Okay? Don't start posting reels and commit to the 1 a day of each, reels and stories, and then a week later go, oh, it's not working. Fuck you. You've got to get used to months and then years, and it's something that you do forever. This is not a short term, I'm going to try that. You're doing it or you're not. Don't expect results in a week or 2 weeks or a month or maybe even 3 months. Go into it with a long-term view, okay? Long-term views get long-term results. Simple as that. But it does work. So doing it, you will get there, okay? It's not like you're doing something and it won't work for you. It works for fucking a lot of people. You just need to get it to work for you. So accept that, okay? Now, number 4, clean up your profile. I mean, for fuck's sake, do some basics. Have a really decent quality image of your logo, or you, whatever, if it's personal or private page or business page, sorry. Your description's got to be about what you do, what you can deliver, what services you provide, the area you work, and then how to fucking get in touch with you for the people to actually reach out to get a quote or ask advice on what you do. Like, don't fuck up the basics. People have got to see, what do you do, where do you work, how to get in touch. And that's like a call to action of the basics of it. I don't know why people are on Instagram or any social media platform and then their profile's like, it's private. And it's always someone who's like a fucking Dave and it's a picture of him fishing and he's got 3 followers and he's like, oh, I don't want people to see what I'm up to. Like, no one's fucking interested anyway. But I just don't get it. It's fucking weird. So clean up your profile. Have it just decent. Again, look at someone else's profile. Mirror what they've done and what they've said or whatever link they've got in their profile. Make sure you've got the fucking basics set up so that people can contact you and get hold of you to get working and get money in the business. Because then once you are doing the reels and the posts and the stories, they're going to check that out. Okay. Yep, find a profile, done that. Then the next thing is, once you're doing that, once your profile looks good, you're regularly posting work, the key is then to collaborate with other people, because that's going to get you a lot more views and eyeballs. But you will not be able to collaborate with other people unless your profile is good and you're a regular, solid person on the socials. You're not going to like reach out to someone and go, "Oh, put this on my page for me." And I still get messages like that. I get some little turd who's put 3 posts up and he sends me a shit picture. Goes, "I'll post this for me, bro." And you're like, "Fuck off! What's the point? Like, it looks crap in the first place, but it doesn't work like that." So build a solid foundation. Get regular work. Reels, posts, solid, constant effort going on socials, and then you can start doing collaborations with other people. And you'll see that's what I'm doing now. Like, I've just started a podcast, and I'm going to get people on that have got a bigger following than me. I then get exposed to their following. They get exposed to my following because I've built a base of 11,000, but they might have 20, 30, 40,000. But there's crossover because people that follow my page might be interested in their page and vice versa. And the collaboration is what changes the game. And, you might have seen people yourself who they go from like no one to someone because they've been on the right pages or been on YouTube videos or whatever, and it's blown up from there. And the other thing is, look, collaboration is what business is all about anyway. Like, it's having links, it's having relationships with other people. Collaboration is like the massive multiplier and the game changer of growing your name, your status, and your business in not just socials, but in terms of work and that as well. So collaboration is so important, and that's the goal where you want to get to, where you can start collaborating with other people. And you might have mates that are in the trades and they've got a bit of a better following than you. They can shout you out, they can shout out your page, things like that. But you've got to have a base first for people to be able to do that. You've got to have that consistent, regular work. Like I say, you've got to commit to it every day. You've got to do some work first before you can collaborate. But I'm telling you, that's where it all fucking changes big times, in that collaboration. Okay. So look, that's pretty much it what I've got on Instagram. But look, if you've got questions, shoot them over and ask me. But I think it's something that is so important. Just commit to it and get going with it. It is going to be a game changer. It's going to pay you longer term. And you just don't know what that's going to be. But have the faith. Understand that people are winning and they're making a lot of money through socials as well. And that can be you. So it's never too late to start, but you've got to start. So get going with it. I hope you found that useful. And I'll see you guys on another training video soon.